let's go into Creo. And what I'm going to do firstly is just open up a format file. So you'll see that has a FRM extension in it. So this is the same file that I showed you earlier. Now I'll have to zoom in here so you can see it, but you can see it has the title block in there. And it has these parameters. Importantly here with this, we are going to be defining a table. So this is a table. It's had its rows and columns all adjusted, and it's used this merge cells and unmerged cells to create this. So this was created by X number of columns and X number of rows, and then they were somewhat merged together in order to create this. Okay, but this is a true table. And then when we have that, if I click in the cell, you can see I have the ability to actually edit the text. In some cases, it's better to also have these here as like these notes as overlays. So if I go to annotate, you can see this is a little note sitting over the top. Okay, there's little tips and tricks like that which we could help with further, but basically we've got this is our format file. Okay, so also in the format, in this case, it's putting a BOM table. We're going to talk about BOM tables in a moment, but it's got one in there. So this might be an assembly format file that we could use that would automatically populate once we use it for an assembly. For a part, we probably don't want that. So maybe we have different format files for parts and assemblies. And then also, we have in this case, a revision table. This is somewhat more of a manual type table where we just type our information in. Okay. So I just want to show as well. So if I go to the drawing options file, so file prepare drawing properties, and I click on the detail options, you'll see here, this is just where I took the screenshot from before, and it's got some options. It hasn't got a lot. Okay, so but these options are relevant when we have the format open. So in other words, if I was to try and go and create a new note and it's going to have text, it's going to be this high. So this 3.5 is measured in millimeters. Okay, right. So that's really a format. So if we were wanting to call out a parameter and a further parameter here, let's say we had some other parameter maybe in our 3D model that we wanted to pull through, we could just type in like ampersand, approved or something, right? So at this point, that text is, not necessarily formatted how we want it. So we might, drop it to the bottom, for example, change the text style and so on. Now, this would then pull through the parameter from our model that was called approved. So the ampersand that we put there is just to signify to the format file that this is a parameter from somewhere else. Now, if this parameter exists in our model, it will pull it through. If it doesn't exist, then when we create a new drawing, it will ask us for it. Okay, so then it will become text. So it works in a few different ways. We might see that in a little bit. Okay, so all right, so that's formats. All right, so if we go and now I'm going to create a template file, a brand new file. Okay, so I'll just call this template demo. Okay, so I'm going to go, okay, it's a drawing, and I'm just going to make it empty. Okay, and I might make it A3. A3 happens to be the same size as our format here. Okay, so I'll go, okay. So this is an empty drawing. This can become a template, and it will. Okay, so but at the moment it's just really it's empty. So in order to sort of bring this to a point where we can actually go, you know, when we go and create a new file and we choose a template option, to bring this file to that stage, we need to do a couple of things. So first thing we want to do, if we're going to be starting to consider this as being a template, would be to go to the template view. Okay, so this is somewhat critical. Okay, so we go to template. So that activates the template mode, and the reason we do that is that so that when we go here and we actually try and bring in the format that we have, so I'm bringing in that same format, okay? The important thing we do there is it does not then try to evaluate these parameters, okay? You can see there for the model name and template demo, etc. That's displayed a little bit different, but you can see it sort of somewhat evaluates it, but it doesn't fully evaluate it, okay? So that if we don't switch to template view, we have issues because it asks us for all this info. So make sure you do that. Also, okay, so then we go to File, Prepare Drawing Properties. This time, we're now in the drawing, so we can go here and we can bring this through. So again, this slider bar has got lots more options in it now, because now we're talking about things like dimensions, repeat regions, stuff that's only relevant in a drawing, not relevant in a format which is just capturing that info. Now, if I look at this, this is not the correct format for me. This is saying text height 0.1526 and it's in inches, okay? Not what I want. What I want is Australian standard. So I'm going to import a DTL file, which is this Australian standard AS 1100, okay? So when I do that, firstly, before I go too much further, you can see every single option here that's highlighted is what it's changed. So mainly these are going to be do with dimensions due to the scaling change. Some of them are other just standard behaviors that aren't changing, but I can obviously, you can see that there's quite a number that's changed. So all I'm going to do is go apply. Now it looks a bit funny for the moment, but I'll just have to come out of that dialog box and let it update the graphics. And now we have that added, okay? So now we're in metric units and using the standards that we want to for dimensioning and so forth. All right, the other thing is when we're on, when we're creating a template, we have the ability to do views. So if I do a template view, okay, here, I'll try and do this quickly. So basically this is a view. It says to show you all these different things. It's the front view. So I'll click place view and I'll click down. All right, what I can also do is when I place the view down, I can drag a window, okay? So now we're gonna get two different behaviors. And so just to show you this, when I go ahead and create, I'm gonna say this away. This is going to be my template drawing, okay? So if I go new, well, let's open up a model quickly. We'll just go to this engine assembly, all right? And we'll go and say, you know, new drawing, all right? And we're going to use the template that we've just created to create that drawing, okay? So now it's asking me, because some of these parameters weren't defined in the model, it's asking me for those, okay? So here's that approved parameter that has been created. And you'll notice here the difference we get in these views. So one is just sort of a default scale view. The other one sort of attempts to create a view scale which fits the view. We notice we get a bill of materials table over here as well.